In WeHo, there's a real problem of people getting date rape drug.
That's for robbing them, though. That's to steal from them.
It's both.
I don't know
no,
exclusively to be like predatory. Because there's like these little like mobs and stuff that are involved.
Way to stand up for the roofie rapist.
Yeah, I was like, it's only to rob.
What's going on, guys? My name's Tarun, Shetty. Welcome to the Convo Sutra. Here with another fantastic episode. So excited for our guest, who I've got a long history with. But first, let's do a quick intro for audio listeners.
Hi, I'm Mayuri Bhandari. I'm an actress, dancer, and storyteller.
Hey guys, I'm Jazz. I'm the host of the Hot Chai Pod, a Bollywood film and gossip podcast.
Hey guys, I'm NATASHA Chandel. I'm a writer, producer, comedian, voiceover actor, and podcaster.
And before we officially start, I want to thank a sponsor for this episode, Lakshmi Rai Naik. Just a fan who wanted to support us. And she didn't want anything aside from she didn't even want her name mentioned. But I just want to shout it out to supporting us. And we appreciate you and breaking South Asian stereotypes by helping us out. So thank you so much. We appreciate your sponsorship. Natasha, thank you for coming back. History here because you were the very first guest on this podcast.
Wow. I'm honored. So honored. What a great journey, man. Like, it's so great to see like how much you've grown, and it's killing it. I'm happy to be back.
So I looked it up last night, and you were on June 8th.
Oh my gosh, it will be 1 year. Wow.
Yeah. So Natasha was the first guest. I threw her into the fire, and I feel bad.
We had such a blast. I had an awesome time. This was such a great show.
And she was so good. And I've been messaging you like, hey, you got to come back. I figured out a system here. And Mayuri was a guest on the show, and she was so great. And people love her clips. One of your clips is like going super viral. I see it being reposted every day about your one-woman show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say June 8th, though, because June 8th was the premiere of my show, The Anti-OP.
Oh, really?
It was the preview, so we're coming around 1 year. So stuff happened on
So
June
cool.
8th.
June
Yeah, June 8th is a thing.
What did you do June 8th?
I'm trying to think.
Nothing? Partied?
Maybe I was in Miami or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Went to gay clubs? I saw her at a gay club.
All the clubs. Yeah.
I'm not gay. I live in West Hollywood. I saw her outside a gay club.
We tried to bring him in.
Yeah.
We tried to lure him.
They're
into
fun.
the clubs.
They're fun to go to.
But thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. And you're so accomplished.
Is that some shit way of saying I'm old? What are you trying to say here?
So we were in the
I
kitchen.
wasn't called accomplished.
They're trying to say seasoned, veteran.
We were in the kitchen before this, and I was like, "Oh, do you guys know each other? You guys are both experienced." And you're like, "What? What do you mean experienced?" But there's no right way to say it.
You're right. I'm just messing.
Because I hate talking to people who are so new in Hollywood. Even like 5 years is new to me. Yeah. Like people who have been around, and I just feel like I thought everybody knows each other in this town.
Know the faces. Know
Yeah,
the name.
for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely am a fan of everybody. I'm just super introverted. So I am, if I'm not like doing a show, I am at home by myself working. Like, that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
You're so accomplished. And again, accomplished.
Thank you.
And
Oh, that
searched
just
you.
made it worse. No,
Accomplished.
You're accomplished too. Except Jasmine, maybe.
it was the air quote.
Don't put me in there.
Mind. Continue, please.
No, but I actually researched you this time because last time I didn't research you properly. And I didn't know you're from Dubai. You were born in Dubai, went to Canada.
Yeah.
You've done it all. And it's actually really crazy because you're really good at everything that you do. You know, same with Mayuri. Like, she's very accomplished in many different facets as well. Like, I watched your reels last night, your acting stuff, and I've been watching your stand-up stuff. Can you just talk about like how you got from Canada here to the U.S.?
Yeah, sure. You know, there was no sham marriage involved, so I can say that. But I was born in Dubai, moved to Toronto. Actually, moved to Bombay when I was 6, and then moved to Toronto when I was 7. Was raised there, and then after university, during university, I was already working in Canada. So one of my things is like, definitely an overachieving Indian. I got my first job in television when I was 16 in production, kind of got thrust and became a floor director of 4 live shows when I was 16. Moved up to be a news reporter, producer, and then that was by the time I was 18. So I was already working in Canada.
Amazing.
What?
And then
What were you doing when you were 8 years old? Were you like working in a sweatshop?
no, 8
She was
years old.
building the cameras.
Yeah.
I was doing improv classes. I started improv and comedy when I was 7. And so then I was already working in Canada. So I decided to do my internship at MTV in New York. I got it.
15 Broadway?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I used to intern there.
But I was at VH1.
Okay.
News and Docs, guys. There was an amazing documentary I was the intern on. Sexploitation on the video set. It was hip hop videos, sexploitation on the video set. And I was doing time code for stripper videos for hours in a day. It was an amazing job.
I probably watched your videos.
Yeah. Do you remember Corinne Superhead?
Yes.
Yeah. That was.
Oh, wow. You did all that?
So I did that, fell in love with New York. And then after university, the whole time I kept going back to Canada. I was like, I'm going to move to New York and work for MTV. And everybody thought that was crazy because you need visas to work in America. And I was a kid. But I was very lucky. A lot of my work won awards when I was young. I was a series regular in shows, and I got enough to be able to get an O1 visa. And I was like, peace out right after school. And literally moved on a $50 megabus with 2 bags of clothes, no job, no visa, had no place to stay. I called up my girlfriend. I was like, can I crash on your couch for 2 weeks? And that turned into a month and a half. And then figured my way out in New York, ended up working at MTV for many years, and then moved to LA.
We've had Agam Darshi, you know who she is?
Yeah, Agam and I are,
Yeah.
No.
So she's Canadian. Is it just this need to escape Canada and come to the US? Like, what is it with, because Canada seems like a great country to me. Like, how come people...
It's not that. Canada's amazing.
It's
not New York.
Yeah, I would say that. It's just that Canada's amazing. Like, listen, in comedy, like, especially if you look at some of the greatest comedians in the world, they all are from Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Carrey, Mike Myers, Lorne Michaels, Dan Aykroyd, the list goes on, to Catherine O'Hara, list goes on and on.
Why is that, you think?
I'm just like, I think we're very funny in Canada because we have nothing else to do.
That's your reason?
And it's just like a very biting, funny culture. It's like UK, everybody jokes around over there. Very witty people in general. But the industry is much smaller. So, like for me, it's like I had done a lot of the stuff. And then I was like, oh, well, I want to do this, but in like a bigger market. And of course, like chase the American dream. So it was really just that. And I wanted to move to LA, but the universe was like, nope, you're going to New York first. And I'm so glad I did because I think it gives you, like, New York is such have you guys been? Yeah, you're from New York. It's such an amazing city for the fact that, like, it's diverse, but it also teaches you to have a backbone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I came to New York, like, this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, sweet little,
I can't imagine that.
girl. I know. And nobody can, but New York.
By the web series I
trained me.
watched that you made this web series, you play like this ditzy Indian girl. And you're a great actress. So I was like, oh, she can actually act because you're nothing like that.
No.
Anyways.
Well, actually, that's how I got my job at MTV.
Okay.
So I created, wrote, directed, and starred in the very first scripted Indian comedy web series on the internet.
Wow.
Like, it's documented.
I saw
It's
it.
like,
What was it called?
there's Mumbai Chopra, Misadventures of an It
really
Girl.
good.
So we did 3 seasons, 28 episodes. It was before people were doing scripted series on YouTube. Same thing, like podcasting. I was like, I have a web series. People were like, what's a web series? I was like, oh, it's on a thing called YouTube. And people would be like, what's YouTube? I was like, oh my God, URL, youtube.com.
What's a computer?
No, literally, it was that era. And I couldn't get anybody to work on it with me. I had to pay people out of my pocket of my job at MTV just to be like, please do this with me. And now it's so funny to see this like huge industry. But Mumbai Chopra did very well at it for its time. Like it was in all the big magazines and trades, and you know, a lot of our stars, like people in the show, are big stars today. Charlemagne the God was in it. You know, Mark St. Cyr, Dina Shahibi, all these people got their first jobs on Mumbai Chopra. But it got me a first look deal at Viacom because they saw it. And this was before digital was a thing. And they were like, hey, you know, you're like on the forefront of digital. So I became a digital producer at MTV News. And I got a first look deal at Viacom.
That's
for
exciting.
Mumbai.
That's huge.
Yeah. And we just made it by ourselves, like over 100 actors, you know, 28 episodes, fully like shot in New York, Jersey, Canada, India. Very proud of that show. Fully diverse cast.
No, I saw it. It's very well shot.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very well shot. It's well acted too.
It was made to be like, it was a satire, like what if Deepak Chopra had a materialistic daughter?
Yeah.
So it was Mumbai Chopra as like, what if the Chopras and the Hiltons were best friends and the Hiltons had a daughter and named her after their favorite city, Paris, and the Chopras had a daughter and named her after their favorite city, Mumbai.
Yeah.
But the idea was like, so she was a sweet but materialistic daughter of a spiritual guru who narrowly escapes a video scandal and haphazardly tries to find enlightenment in her life. But we'd never seen that kind of character, a ditzy, super sexy, beautiful Indian
Jasmine's
girl.
like, that's me. You're describing me.
Yeah, narrowly escaped a video scandal.
Right? It's all of us now, but they wouldn't
Yeah.
show that on camera back then. And so it really blew people's mind. They couldn't get around it. They were like, so she's in India? And I'm like, no, her name is Mumbai, like Paris. Did you fucking get it? And so it was very ahead of its time. I get told that a lot now, but it was amazing. I'm very, very proud of that show.
So was that kind of the gateway for you to come to LA to be an actress?
I got my start in Canada. And so I happened to be in, my very first project was a short that, very lucky, guys. I'm very grateful, but it got into like all the major festivals in the world. It won like huge awards. I was a star. It was called Priya. I starred as Priya. And it got me to meet, like NBC called me here. They were like, we'll write you letters for your visa, move here. And then of course I came here and the entire industry crashed in 2008. And I was like, oh, cool. Nice knowing you. So it was like restarting again, but acting has always been part of my life. So I just kind of have been on and off with it.
Hey, I want to make a quick shout out to Dialogue Coffee for giving us drinks this fine morning. Check them out. They're in LA. They're one of the best. My favorite coffee shop. I'm there every day if you want to stalk me and kill me. And they're amazing.
Roofie him.
No, but this is an amazing drink. Thanks so much for caffeinating us. We appreciate it. Thanks.
And not even just caffeinating. I got to say, this is a green juice. It's amazing.
Oh, that's right.
And I don't normally like green juices, nor am I healthy. So this is amazing.
Yeah, Mayuri, what are you drinking?
I don't know which smoothie it is, but it's a lovely smoothie.
Okay.
I don't know which kind I got. So, but
Surprise.
it's very nice. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you always know that you wanted to act? Like, is that like
That was
always
the
something in
first
you?
love. That was like I started theater and improv when I was 7. Like that's what I wanted to do. But over time, it was like there were so few opportunities, especially in Canada then. And so I did very well in Canada. And then I came here, and then you get the hard knocks of the U.S. But it's always been like my first baby in love.
So when you were 6, 7, you told your parents, or did they see something in you to be like, oh, I want to put her into improv classes?
Yeah,
as a
no,
child?
I'm curious if like what your guys' story is with that. But like for me, my mom always says I used to sit in front of a mirror and 2 years old and fake cry. And she's like, you would just look and start crying, and then she'd come over and be like, "Are you okay?" And then I'd stop and be like, "Oh yeah, look, I just want to see what my face looks like."
You're like the Shirley Temple of Canada.
But I've always been like, it's very Jim Carrey-ish.
Yeah.
I used to make a lot of faces and voices to the mirror. And then I used to come and do impressions all the time. I used to dress up at home and do things. But I used to do voiceover impressions. And I remember once I came over to do Gosling from Darkwing Duck. I even remember the moment. I went to my dad, I did the impression, and then I did like a fake, and then I fake died. And he came over, he's like, "You'd be a good actor." And I was like, "What's that?" And that's when I learned that that's what I was doing, was acting. And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, that's what I want to do."
I mean, the drama is so young. I love
so
it.
dramatic. It's so opposite of who I am now. Like, I think...
There's no drama in your life?
No, I'm so like calm and like, I mean, I'm pretty dramatic, but only with my partner.
Only on the screen.
Louis sees that part.
Oh, you got married too. Congratulations.
Thank
Can we talk
you.
about that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah.
It's ruined my whole brand.
Sorry.
I hate him for it.
No, it's awesome. Follow her Instagram. You'll be very entertained.
Yeah, you'll never see him though. I'm kidding.
Okay. You'll never see
but
him.
not really though.
A lot of female, like, I don't know, brands on Instagram and stuff actually don't show their boyfriends and husbands because they lose followers.
Honestly, that's not it. But
It's true though.
I will say it's just you know, I have a dating podcast. I'm very like, we don't need to be advertising our fucking relationship. Nobody gives a shit about most people's relationship. Like, it's nice to see a cute picture here and there, but I don't need your fucking diary of like, you
I'll
know,
post
every
pictures
place you've made
strategically
out.
just to show that I'm like sexually viable still.
Yeah,
Like,
that you gotta do.
I'll put like,
But are you single?
yeah, but
Yeah,
I'll,
so you gotta
I'll go to
fucking-
like bars and I'll be like, "Can I sit on a martini, please?" And just put it like in front of me and take a photo. Be like, "Oh, I'm on a date," and by myself.
You
Just to
put
make
their
it
arm
seem
in, you know?
Oh my God.
You're just trying to make the chicks jealous.
Yeah,
You're trying to play
I swear,
that game.
like this is all like smoke and mirrors. My life.
I get it.
Oh,
Welcome to LA.
But you brought up your. Hey, sorry to interrupt. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. It helps us so much. Thanks. But you brought up your podcast.
Yeah.
I have so many things. By the way, you guys just jump in.
Yeah, so-
We're trying.
I know you're taking a break right now, but you've done so many episodes of your podcast. Like, how did you get from on camera to doing the podcast? Like, what was the transition there?
I think I've always like had this thing of like discovering new mediums and like new ways to express myself. And so how like I started YouTube in 2010 before anybody was doing YouTube. I started kind of dating podcasts in 2016 before anybody knew what podcasts were because I heard about this thing called podcasts and I was like, oh, what is this? And I just wanted another outlet. And I realized like, well, what is the thing that everybody always talks to me about? And I had crazy dating stories, but I had gone to therapy and done all the work. So I was like, I don't want to be like the person just doing crazy dating stories. I wanted it to be where I spoke from the point of view of a reformed commitment phobe. So it's called Kinda Dating because nobody says they're in a relationship anymore. And the whole thing is like, why do we all have exploration of why do we all have commitment issues? And for me, I was talking about it from the point of view of a reformed commitment phobe and going, I get it. Like I have done every single thing that everybody is doing. And I still did for all the 8 years that we did the podcast after, until I finally got married. But it's not why I canceled the podcast or I retired the podcast. I just, you know, I felt like we had done what we needed to do after 300 plus episodes. Yeah. You know, we had all these major guests on it. It did very well and I'm very proud of it. But yeah, it was one of those where it was like, this is a new outlet and I had something to say. So
I love how you're always ahead of the curve, like YouTube and the podcast. Like you're always starting stuff before it actually catches on.
It kind of sucks. I would like to be on time sometimes. That would be nice.
Timing's everything in this
It is.
business.
It is.
But I do want to say, like, I really commend you for, you know, jumping into things whether you knew it or not. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I think from our backgrounds, we can be so calculated, or like if we're not as good at it, or, you know, we have to be good at whatever or really know that field before we get into it or prepare ourselves. But you were just like, I'm curious and I want to, because we were talking earlier about multi-hyphenates and you're like, I was that before it was a thing. And so, you know, for you to just be like, I'm just going to start it and then I'll learn it as I go along. And that's what the beauty of the art industry is, that you can just work on the doing and then the learning of whatever it is will come along. So that's so great that you were doing that already.
I mean,
and you have been.
Partially, it's like I went to school for radio and television arts. I know full production from top to bottom. I know the whole thing. So for me, it was like, okay, here's this new medium. I already understood audio. But you know, like Tarun knows, you don't want to do everything. I don't want to be the person recording and editing. So I got a team together. There was a lot of planning to it. You know, I didn't just jump in without any plan. I planned the whole thing. But yes, then you go in and you shoot your shot and you discover and you grow along the way. There are for sure so many learnings now that I'm like, oof, what was I doing then? But even then, can I tell you, in 2016, we used to do video clips before anybody was doing video clips of podcasts. We just stopped because nobody watched them. Because nobody got it. We used to do man on the streets and do like things. We used to cut our video clips and post it on Instagram.
See, that would just piss me off. I'm already like full of spite. That would make me even more pissed off.
I mean, it was just like, again, it's just like timing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so then I stopped because I was like, it's so much work. Nobody's gets it. So I was like, maybe I'm dumb for doing this thing, you know? And same with the web series. I'll be honest. We were doing it for so long. And then finally I was like, I don't know if people get web series.
Yeah.
And then people got web series. So
All of you actually have making your own stuff. Like she does a Bollywood podcast on her own. And
Amazing.
Yeah, and
Congrats.
Mayuri just has an amazing one-woman show. I feel like all this stuff are formative experiences that probably have made you who you are today.
100%. I don't know how you guys feel, but like, you know, South Asian women, we're not always told to be open and put ourselves out there. And like, you know, kind of dating, one of the best feedback I ever get is when it's brown girls who hit me up and say, thanks for like being so open about your sex life. Thank you for talking about real dating and whatever. Cause I'm just always like, I have fucked a lot.
Well, actually, that's so funny, right?
And I'm not
just about
apologetic
to ask
about
you
it.
about that. Like, did you have any reservations as you were planning the podcast about like
No.
family seeing or like the community? You just didn't care.
I'm just so lucky. My family's so uninterested in everything I do. To this
Love
day, they have never come to a stand-up show. I had a sold-out show in Toronto and sold out. The only 2 empty seats were my parents who had free tickets. And the day before, they're like, we're okay. Yeah, it's
so
like, all right.
interesting.
Which is good in a way. Like it's not upsetting to me. It's actually, I'm like, listen, I don't know. Do I need my mom to see all my morning sex jokes and stuff? Like
Yes.
and my mom is very cool. I actually made her stop listening to the podcast because there was a point that I was like, Ma, I know like you're like my bestie, but you know, I still have a boundary with you. And like, I don't think I need you to know exactly where I was when I hooked up with whoever. And she knows I've done stuff. I just don't need her to know all the details.
And good on both of you. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like good on your parents for like understanding like
Yeah.
this is too much for us. And good on you for being like, it's this very similar for me because I'm like, look, you don't need to know everything because you won't accept it. So, but I don't want to have to, you know, like filter my work or what I'm saying or my art because I'm worried about, because those are really the only 2 people I'm really worried about.
Completely,
like everybody else is like whatever, but like, so I understand, but where I want them to come, I'm like, please, or I'm not sure, we'll see how it goes. But there's something so beautiful about how you're like, it's okay. You don't need to know. And that's all right. And like, we
I'm
have that
very like,
understanding.
you don't need to know every single thing about everybody, like whether it's a relationship or your family or I'm like, that's okay. You're good to have like your own little bit for yourself. But actually guys were the hardest thing. Like it was, you know, when you go on dates and they find out you have a dating podcast, I never hid it. I'm like, listen, I'm very Googleable. You can see it. But they would be like, oh, are you going to talk about me on your podcast? I'm like,
Yeah.
don't do something dumb. I won't talk about you. I literally was like, well, as long as you don't do something dumb, I won't talk about you on the podcast. Just be a normal human and we'll be fine. And then I gave them all nicknames. So, you know, so they all had like, I think a lot of people knew there was a guy named Bruce Lee that I talked about a lot, who was not Asian, nor he was a white guy, but he was like, you know, 4-time like jujitsu black belt, and his disciple line was like the training was Bruce Lee's type. So I called him Bruce Lee. There was a guy who I had a horrible date with who took me to Valencia. So his
was his
nickname
date,
on the
Valencia?
podcast was Valencia.
There.
It was horrific. It was the worst, and he was so rich. Like he's a very rich dude. Like his dad, like I don't want to say owns like a sports team, and everybody was like, "You gotta go out with this guy." And I actually just thought he was cute. I was like, "All right, I'll go out." Worst date. I'm like, my gosh.
That's why he's alone.
Who knows? Maybe he's got somebody now, you know. But
Yeah. I mean, we can segue a whole 40 minutes about dating.
I know, true.
See, it blows my mind that even you were single, all of you, for however many years, because you're all attractive and you're all have personalities. But I hear both sides. I mean, I'm the only guy here, but I think I'm a guy. Did I say that right? Is that the
No,
am I supposed to be a man? Am I supposed to be a
identify
man? Or a boy?
As a cis man.
I empathize whenever I hear people talk about dating stuff.
But can I be honest? Like, I don't know how you guys feel, but I get really annoyed when people say like, "Oh, I can't believe, so sorry that you're single or that whatever." It's like, I truly don't believe that people being single is a reflection of them or where they are or anything. Like I actually got really mad at a couple. There are other dating coaches because I also dating coach, and like they once said, oh, there's a 45-year-old woman and she's not married. Is there something wrong with her? And in a panel, they all said yes. And I was like, you guys are fucked up. You don't know what she's been through in her life. You don't know what
Yeah.
choices she made. You don't know. And being in a relationship is not,
not a
your
prize.
everything. Like, yes, we control our choices.
Yeah.
So there's an element of that. But at the same time, like, you still can't plan to meet Prince Charming or, you know, I don't know what the fucking
Princess Charming.
Yeah,
I'll go
Princess
both ways
Charming.
at this point. Whatever.
Come to the gay clubs with me.
Sorry. I don't even
He's
leave
like,
my
"Actually."
apartment. I go to the groceries like every night, and I'm walking with like sweatpants, whatever, and I see like this hot Indian chick in leather. I'm like, who's this girl?
It's not in leather.
And it's her.
Oh my God, I love this
What was I
already.
wearing? No.
It's her with her friends. She's like, Tarun, what are you doing? I'm like,
You're like, this is my alter ego. This is my other identity outside the podcast.
This is when I'm not being
there's like
proper here.
crowds of gay people just swarming past us. I'm like, I'm going home. They're like, come out with us. I'm like,
You're like in my pajamas.
Oh
they're like,
my
what's in
God.
the bag? Is it Coke? I'm like, it's granola.
Yeah. My friends wanted you to come out.
Yeah, wasn't gonna happen. So that's
They were excited.
I don't know. That was
Why
the
did
story.
you go out?
Yeah, that was the same
They're
question.
like, there's that famous guy from the podcast that you sometimes wander onto the set of.
Who, me?
I was like, yeah, he's the famous one.
Oh, me? Yeah. No, well, I've been living in the neighborhood for like 20 years. So like I'm so like just over that.
Yeah.
But did you
the-
go
Once in a
before?
while
Because
thing.
you know, gay clubs are the best place for a straight guy.
I've had girlfriends bring me to gay clubs.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
gone there.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there.
No, but straight guys go to gay
Yeah, right.
clubs a lot to
Right.
pick up women because it's like
it's like a
the
safer
safe place.
environment. Yeah.
Gay guys
Yeah.
hit on me nonstop if I go by
Oh, yeah.
myself. So I do not go by myself.
Yeah.
By yourself. Yeah. I don't know about clubbing by oneself.
Can I give a dark but funny story?
Yeah, please.
Please.
My first, not my first, I've been to a lot of gay clubs, but I went to a lesbian pride party in Hollywood. It was the first and only time I ever got roofied by a lesbian
Wow.
at a pride party.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just very much like, this is a very aggressive move by a girl who looks like Tinkerbell, which I was like, you're really cute. Maybe you could have asked me and I could have been fine
So you knew
with it.
who did it.
Oh, for sure. But I found out after the fact, after I was already
course.
like out
Right.
the next day, and I was
Yeah.
like, what? But I was just also like, what did we think was going to happen? Like, are we just going to scissor the night away?
I was going to just say, I didn't want
what
to make it visual.
does it count as rape?
I
if
think
it's
they
a
want to
silicone
rob you.
dildo?
No, but seriously though, like
I really had a lot of thoughts. I'm okay now. It's okay.
So you knew you were roofied immediately.
Oh, not immediately. I found out the next day when I
Okay.
woke up and I couldn't remember anything. And I was like, what happened?
Roofied
But
your
luckily I had a
dialogue.
friend with me.
I've been roofied.
Oh
And they
my
made me
God.
like throw up and the whole thing. So I got very lucky. Yeah.
It's crazy how common these stories are. Do you
But
know
it
what I
happens a
mean?
lot at gay clubs.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Period. Like
Yeah.
the amount of times I've heard this.
No, but it's an
insane.
actual thing in LGBTQ clubs. Like there are articles about it. In WeHo, there's a real problem of people getting date rape drug.
That's for robbing them, though. That's to steal from them.
It's both.
I don't
Oh,
know
no, no,
exclusively to be like predatory. Because there's like these little like mobs and stuff that are
Yeah.
involved.
Way to stand up for the roofie rapist.
I was like,
It's only to rob.
I don't know if it's only. She's like, I know. I'm just
There's
saying.
there was an article about it recently.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But actually, I got roofied at a frat party by one of my like research associates in college, and I knew within a second, like because I had one sip and I was like, and then I like begged these girls to drive me home because there was no Uber then, and they were kind of drunk, and I was like, I gotta take a chance. And yeah, they got me home, and I was like
Wow.
very sick, but I was like very
I had
thankful that I was like,
no idea.
I don't feel right. Like,
Yeah.
I had no. I literally just remember having a drink and being like, boom, and then next second, I luckily was at a friend's house and he was walking me, and I literally fell into a bathtub. I was like, I need to use the bathroom, and I went.
Never leave your drink alone at all.
Yeah.
Right?
That was and I thought it was the one place I thought
You'd
was
be
safe,
safe, yeah.
because I normally would never ever leave my drink.
Mayuri has a roofie story. Yes.
No,
sure.
no, not me. But I heard
Story.
someone.
Miles.
I go to my friend's Zumba class, and there was a woman who came outside who is a regular in the class, and I mean it was just crazy. Like you'd think sometimes it's the I mean they do it while they're serving the drinks right then before you even have the drink.
Yeah.
So like there's
Yeah.
just no, it's so normalized. Like it's insane to me how casual this is. And it like this person has to go out of their way and is like terrified because this person knows where they live. This person, it's like right by their house. Like it's just, it's unbelievable. Like, and this person who's been violated can't even do anything about it because they know that they're going to be in trouble if they try to take any action, which they already have tried to. And this was happening, a random conversation with a person I don't even know outside of Zumba class, like after the class, like we were all dancing and then afterwards, like it was just crazy to me that like, I was saying that story because you were saying like, always take care of your drink,
of
but
course.
sometimes it's happening before you even get the drink.
No,
like,
it's so true.
Crazy.
PSA.
It's a wild.
Don't drink.
I mean,
It's true.
Bring your
I have
water
stopped
bottle.
drinking.
like you were saying earlier, don't go by yourself. Like definitely have
don't
your
go by
people and
yourself.
like have your eyes on people. And no, don't let your friend go with some random person.
yeah.
Like no, you know.
Don't trust a girl who looks like Tinkerbell. Just
Yeah, maybe that's the
saying.
problem.
Yeah.
Don't trust a research
She was
lab
so
nerd.
cute too. I was like, oh, I was having such a great conversation, and I was like,
I wish girls roofied me. I mean, that kind of sounds
I-
like
Guys who've been
I-
roofied?
not guys roofing me, pretty girls.
Let's not.
but you would not be able to do anything with them anyway.
We can roofie
That's
you
true.
just so you can see what
That's
it's
the
like.
problem.
Like, let's go back to your career.
Sorry to fully.
Well, I just want to make sure like we get it all in because you do so much. Backtrack a bit. You were a writer for Mr. Iglesias, Gabriel Iglesias show,
Yeah.
and you were staff writer for
Press Start. That aired last November now.
part of the WGA. You're actually part of the South Asian community. and leading
Yeah,
that.
so I co-chair the South Asian Writers Committee of the WGA. The first ever at the WGA. We advocated for many years to get a separate committee, and we finally got it last September.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
How did you break into the TV writing world? Because that's a really hard world to break into.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me in general, like, how have I done all the different things and like achieved in each one? But I'm very like methodical in the sense of like I just really pick a goal and I reverse engineer it. I'm like, what's it going to take to get there kind of thing. So for writing, it was like I was stuck as a producer and in the exec world. I always knew I wanted to be a writer, but I'll be honest, I have very immigrant mentality. If somebody like dangles money in front of my face, I'm like, okay. Like, so I
I
just,
would do the same thing.
yeah. So I just always like kind of getting stuck back into producing. So, you know, I was at networks and then finally I was at, I can say it, Disney. And they had acquired our company and they laid everybody off. Best things have happened because then I was like, oh, I can focus on being a writer. But to break in, there's like a couple paths. It was like either you're an assistant or, you know, you start as a script coordinator or a PA or a writer's assistant, or you write something that really stands out and gets you directly staffed. It's very rare. Or a fellowship, like one of the writers' programs. I talked to a lot of friends and they were like, listen, you're experienced enough. You can get in right away. I was also like, I don't have time to be an assistant right now. So that means the caliber of the script had to be higher. And so I wrote a sample that I was like, either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it, but this is going to stand out of a pile. And it was called Coconut. And it was about a girl, not me, but a lot of my work likes to break stereotypes. So it was about a South Asian girl from the South, like Plantation, Florida, who is super conservative and very Catholic. And she moves to New York for her entry-level job at Lynx News, which is like Fox News. And she realizes, holy shit, I think I'm the racist one. And so she goes on these dates with guys from all walks of life to break her ingrained prejudice. And very edgy. The jokes were like super like biting in the sense like the opening scene is like her dad going, you know, okay, you can go to New York, but, you know, stay away from the blacks and the gays and the Jews and the Asians and the trannies, you know? And it's like, but it's that idea that we fearmonger. But that's a hard read, you know? And there's a lot of like biting commentary in there. So it stood out. And it got me a development deal, but it also got me staffed on Iglesias.
People throwing deals at you left and right. I swear.
No, there were, listen,
is
that deal
great.
sadly fell through. So when another senior white executive came in and was like, this makes me uncomfortable, I was like, that's kind of what happens. So but that's what got me staffed was coconut.
Did you enjoy it, writing with a team?
Oh my God, I love it. Being in a writer's room is the best. It's so fun and collaborative. And like for comedy, it's just like you want to be able to bounce off people. Remember though, when you're a staff writer, it's like when you first come into a show in the beginning, you're not saying shit anyway. You're just watching people and absorbing. But yes, now all these guys are like, you know, the showrunner's one of my mentors. All these guys are friends. Gabe and Fluffy and all of them, like they're friends and people I really
Fluffy's
admire.
huge. He's one of the biggest comedians in the world.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he's so professional and like just so with it and just naturally funny. All of them, Sherry Shepherd, Oscar Nunez, you know, Jacob Vargas, like brilliant people. Yeah, and then I moved to animation after that.
I could see you show running. I could totally see you as like some boss bitch on set, just where this cracking the whip. Like, where are those scripts? You know, let's get going. Like,
Thank you.
You know, I could see
Thank you. No, from your mouth to God's ears. Yeah, that's the goal.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Works out for you.
Thank you.
So what was the transition from that to stand-up?
Yeah, so stand-up is a thing I always wanted to do since I was a kid. But, you know, being a Indian girl, like I wasn't allowed out at night like that. So, and I also like didn't know how to get into stand-up. Like in Canada, Russell Peters is our God, you know, and I'm very honored and grateful to call him a friend. I met him when I was very young, but I didn't know how to break in still to stand up. I, again, just mostly wasn't allowed to like go out and do those things. And so when I moved to New York, I was like, oh, maybe now. But then my job at MTV was producing in a night gig. So I produced from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. every single day for years. Then I moved to LA and I was like, maybe now. And then I got a night job on a Fox TV show that was also till 1 a.m. And I was like, okay. So it was only in 2019 that I did my very first stand-up gig. I was like, there's no excuse now. Let's do it. And
where was it at?
In India. Actually, no.
Way.
Yes. One of my very
stand-up
first
gig in India?
shows. Yeah. My very first shows
Nobody
were
will
in
see
India.
me in Chandigarh
Yes.
if I do it.
But I'll tell you, you know where my very first show
Yeah.
was? Laugh Factory.
India?
And Comedy Store.
Oh, okay.
And like,
As my first 5 minutes. That is the stupidest thing to ever do. Okay? That's like the Mecca. Those are the top spots. But my amazing friend, shout out Christina Shams, who's now Matt Rife's manager. I get it.
Oh, you're running Laugh Factory, right?
Yeah, so she used to
yeah.
run Laugh Factory, but she wasn't managing at the time. And she was like, she saw me at a party. You know, we
Roofie
talk
deal.
about Kismet
Yeah.
and like things aligning.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine was like, if you go to this party, find a way to meet this girl named Christina Shams. I was like, how am I going to meet Christina Shams? And the first person I walk into this party and I meet is Christina Shams. And then she was like, what do you want to do? And I said, I really want to try stand up. She's like, cool, I'll book you. I was like, okay, like, sure you will. And then she books me at Comedy Store and Laugh Factory. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And it's 5 minutes. And like, you know, the first 5 minutes is like so fucking hard. And she showed up and she's like, and I didn't bomb, thankfully. And she came off and she's like, you have it. And I was like, do I? Okay. And then like, that was it. Then I just started. But then the pandemic happened. So sadly it took you know, a year off. But in 2021, June 21, I just like went at it. And now it's like the thing I do. It's writing and stand up.
your first gig was in India. Now in India, stand-up's taken off. Like, it's like a new animal. And it's become so popular. Like, what was that like?
Oh yeah,
for
we were
you?
in like some tiny little like basement room in Phoenix Mall in
Oh yes, Phoenix Mall Palladium.
yeah,
right?
Palladium.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
Where's
like,
this at? Where?
in
Mumbai.
Bombay,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah,
in Townside, and like very famous mall.
Very
Like,
famous.
It's like
It's where the stand-up originally, like all of the stand-ups were going there.
And there's this tiny little room. It's very different there, you know, because they don't understand the same. They don't have the same vernacular, and also like the same references. It's the same thing. Like I performed in Europe, and I have this, you know, joke about, which is true, that I didn't want to get married. So even until the end, I was trying to get out of it, and I kept telling my now husband, I was like, well, "Baby, you know, we could stay engaged forever. It worked for Oprah," which is a truth story I said to him, but. in Europe, they don't get Oprah.
course.
They're like,
Culturally,
"Huh?"
like, yeah.
And I was like, Oprah Winfrey? And like, they didn't get it. So I was like, oh, well, the reference doesn't land.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that. So in India, it's like, changing the references.
Yes.
Or making things more universal in the way that anybody could understand.
Let's just wrap up real quick. Where can we find you on social media?
I am everywhere on social media. I am a very complicated person, though, so get ready. At Natasha Chandel on Instagram, Natasha.Chandel on TikTok, Natasha Chandel Official on Facebook, Natasha_Chandel on Twitter. Because some bitches keep taking my fucking name.
I know. You have to adjust. I get it. I know the struggle.
And then at, Kinda Dating Podcast, if you would like to go back and listen to 300 pretty evergreen episodes on dating with some of, amazing experts from around the world, including Mark Manson, Russell Peters was on the
Check
podcast.
it out. It's very good. Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys can find me on Instagram, YouTube at Hot Chai Pod, weekly podcast video show. Mm-hmm. Just a show.
For me, it's Instagram at Mayuri Bhandari Official and at The Anti-Yogi Show. Also at Mayuri Bhandari Official on TikTok and Bollywood on Ice on YouTube.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you can find me at Tarun Shetty. And thanks, Natasha, for coming by again. That first episode, you really helped me out a lot coming on. I know when people ask me to do stuff for the first time, I'm like, God, this is going to suck. And you came on, you were like, I'll be there. You tell me what time to be there. I will show up. So you showed up for me. So I appreciate you coming back.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. You're doing an amazing job. And like, look at all this. You should be so proud.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Join us on Patreon. Send this to a friend. Forward this. If you want to sponsor an episode, please. We appreciate you. And we will see you guys next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.